into our first topic because word on the curb is they're looking to reboot the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. And they're looking at, I think they're talking about doing a couple of them. But one of the people that they're looking at bringing into the franchise is none other than actor Glen Powell. Wow, let me some Glen Powell. I was like, ooh, that's a sexy ass Texan. You want to know who he reminds me of? And I'm sure a lot of people probably feel this way. He's kind of like this generation's Matthew McConaughey. Like when I was growing up, it was all about Matthew McConaughey and he was the it guy. He was all in the rom-coms. And fun fact, if case y'all didn't know this, Matthew McConaughey was actually in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. I think it was the third one, if I'm not mistaken. Him and Renee Zellweger was in the same movie, and he played part of the Kooky family. And I feel like if they really want to kind of go meta with it, have Glen Powell play a part of Leatherface's family instead of having him come in as this regular guy that's just and just traveling through Texas with his friends, and then they get taken out one by one or whatever by Leatherface and his family of cannibalistic freaks. So according to Bloody Disgusting, they said that it's now been 3 years since Netflix premiered Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a legacy sequel to Tobe Hooper's originally called horror classic that arrived on February 18, 2022. Now fresh rumors have begun to swirl that the franchise may be revving back to life in a new installment. So, Deadline is reporting that studios are knocking at Verb's door. The agency has repped the rights for Texas Chainsaw Massacre since 2017. While nothing has been officially set in motion, the names showing interest in the IP have us intrigued. So this says that Strange Darling filmmaker J.T. Molnar and producer Roy Lee are at the forefront of the conversation around reviving the franchise, with in-demand actor Glen Powell, star of the upcoming Running Man reboot, interested in reading Molnar's script for a possible star vehicle and producing role. So now he's getting to the point where he's ready to produce. But I'm like, okay, you up there. Now, might as well, right? Lionsgate 824 also reportedly said to be eyeing the IP for a new feature. So I actually think, to be honest, they really need to revive this franchise. No shade. The last time I actually watched a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie and I liked it, was the Jessica Biel one. That was the last time, and I think that was under the Michael Bay umbrella because he had like this horror imprint that they were making a lot of remakes. It was like the Friday the 13th one, and then which I actually liked. I'm still don't understand why it's taken 15 years for us to get another Friday the 13th movie. But I do have some Friday the 13th news that I have after we do this story. So hold on, because we still got more to talk about. So I'm still mad that we haven't gotten a Friday the 13th movie. And it's been over 15 years. And that was the Jared Padalecki one. And I actually kind of like that one. The one that they had with Jessica Biel, I like that one too. I did not like the one with Jordana Brewster. I did not like the one. Then I think they came out with a couple of ones. I could not stand that one they had on Netflix. I'm like, what is this shit? Now, if y'all want to talk about DI, woke, all that other mess, okay, y'all can incorporate it with that one. Because the most irritating thing that they had about that was all of a sudden these kids from like this, from the big city were trying to come in and colonize this town and blah, blah, blah. And they were acting so like the stereotypical arrogance of what a Gen Zer is, where they were trying to do it all. And I was just like, I'm just irritated with everybody in this movie. I want everybody to die. And that's kind of like how I felt about it. And then the dumb scene, which I laughed at, but actually I kind of liked it, when they were all on the bus, and they thinking, oh, let's hold up our phone and start filming this big scene. And Leatherface starts cutting all their asses up. And I laughed because I'm like, but just take their dumb asses out, because all of this is so stupid. But it makes sense what they were trying to say of how these Gen Zers were. So I did not like that movie. And then they try to bring in the girl who played, I think it was Sally from the original. Well, the original actress passed away. So they brought in another actress to come in and play her. And they were trying to pass off as a legacy sequel, similar to like what was the big trend with Friday the 13th, well, not Friday the 13th, with Halloween, when you had Laurie Strode and the whole, that whole legacy sequel bandwagon they were trying to jump on. Totally wasted her character. The movie, it just irritated me. The way they put that together, I hated it. So with all this coming up, whether it's my A24 might be involved, Lionsgate might be involved. Lionsgate could use a hit right now. I mean, I know they're probably banking on, well, we're getting John Wick 5. That is in the works. We have Ballerina coming up. A couple of the Lionsgate movies haven't really been doing well. I know they're really banking on Ballerina to do really well. And we already heard what's going on with Saw 11, where they allegedly that's been canceled. That's been the big reports that's been going on. So they could use a hit right now. So if Lionsgate does pick up this film, I wouldn't be mad at them. Although I am loving A24 right now, and I'm liking a lot of stuff that's coming out with them. And on top of that, we have to talk about the fact that it's about the people behind Strange Darling is interested in taking on this franchise. Now, if y'all have not seen Strange Darling, I do not know what the hell is wrong with y'all and what is taking you so long. Y'all need, after this show is over, I can't remember which streaming service it's on. It might be on Hulu, might be on Paramount Plus, it might be on one of the streaming services. Google Schmoogle is up there. But I absolutely love this freaking movie. I remember I just bought it on not bought it, I decided to rent it when I was on Amazon or something or another. And I was like, let me check this movie out because I've been hearing so much about it. And I follow Kyle Garner on Twitter and he's in the film. And he's been hyping this movie up. And I'm like, why is everybody for him going so hard on this movie? And everybody's talking about how great this movie is. So many critics said, yeah, go in completely blind. Do not look up what this movie is about. You have to go in and experience this completely blind. And I recommend you watch the movie like that because the movie shook the hell out of me. Not in a bad way, but it was just like, I thought this movie was going to go one way and it completely flipped itself on its head. And it kind of tells its way in this kind of the way that if you ever saw like Kill Bill and stuff and how they tell, I always forget linear and non-linear confused, but I think it's like a linear way. And the way they told the story, it was kind of similar to how Quentin Tarantino told the story in Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. So if you go, well, Kill Bill mostly. So if you go in it that way, I feel like it's a really good movie that you guys should check out. So I'm actually hoping that this happens. I would love to see Glen Powell in a horror film. I am looking forward to him starring in this Running Man film, which if y'all seen the original Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, like in this day and age, the way our time and the tone and everything of what's going on in this dystopian third world country that America is about to become, the subject matter of Running Man definitely mirrors what's happening today. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. And the fact of the matter is that Glen Powell is a Texan, born and bred Texan. It makes sense to have him in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. So I'm really hoping that the story is true, that we have JT Molnar, who directed Strange Darling, will be a part of this, and Glen Powell will be a part of it and produce it. And we finally get ourselves a really good, proper Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this story? Are you excited to hear that they're looking to reboot the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise? And Glen Powell may be in talks to star. I actually think it's a good idea. I like Glen Powell. I like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. And if they do decide, wherever they decide to go with this film, I really hope that they decide to just scratch the whole, let's modernize it and bring it into 2025. No. I feel like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre works if you kind of place it pre-cell phone, pre-internet. So like set it in the 70s. Kind of like if they decide, whenever they decide to get through this red tape of Friday the 13th, if you're going to do a Friday the 13th, set it in the 80s and leave it there. Don't bring it into modern technology and all this other stuff, because I feel like in so many ways, it was so much easier to make horror movies back then because we didn't have all this extra technology that makes things really difficult to not get people in crazy situations. So set it back then, because that's what I'd be here for. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.